What's going on, Soul Nation? Ginger Prime here, and today I learned something about the Final Fantasy XIV world and terms of service that I really wasn't aware of, and I want to pass that information on to you so you can have a good experience and not actually violate the terms of service accidentally. But a big part of this video and discussion and information is all going to be wrapped around the world of Final Fantasy XIV and the role-playing community. Right now, definitely Reddit is very upset. Lots of memes are being posted, and you'll see a meme in the thumbnail of this video. Lots of those links will be in the description below if you want to go give them some thumbs up for their effort. I think it's been, at least it's been a nice piece to the issues that underpin the core concept of this video. So there's, again, two parts to this video. There's going to be kind of the information, then we're going to highlight what people are saying. I'm going to give my thoughts throughout all of this, and as always, I'd love to know what you guys are thinking, whether this is a good thing, bad thing, did you learn something like me, or have you always known this and it's just a matter of time? Anyhow, let's go ahead and dive in. Healer posting this over on the Reddit saying, this is pertaining to the role-playing community. Whether you like it or not, please don't judge them for being a part of it, but this is a warning for posting role-playing ads within the Party Finder tab. They have an other tab that essentially people were using to post, I guess, non-things currently listed for content, and apparently that is a violation of the terms of service. They then go on to share a chat with a certain GM. Now, I don't want to sit here and throw GMs under the bus. They are not the highest paid people. Like, these are like fans, and they're part of the community, and honestly, most of the time, they're just going off of a script. They're not the ones who are making judgment. So if there's other kind of like communications out there, I have yet to see that come across. So just keep in mind, I'm highlighting just one of these in this case. If we get more information, I'll be sure to do an updated video, or Chris and I will do a collab over on Work to Game. But essentially, the summary of what you're seeing here on screen ties into that a user posted that they were having an RP house for people to come and do role-playing activities in. Now, this does not relate to, or does not appear to relate to, the various kind of lewd activities that you could have within the game. If you guys aren't aware, there was a time, I think a couple years ago, where a bunch of news sites tried to clickbait the hell out of all of the 14 because there are people who do things. And you know what? I'm not going to sit here and judge them for what they choose and how they choose to use their time within the game world. So it just kind of seemed like this maybe is kind of that bubbling up in a way, but according to all of this, this had nothing to do with that. This is just, hey, come check out my RP house. It's a cafe, and we're all, who knows what else. But ultimately, like, that is essentially a violation. They got pulled into the GM jail for a little bit. It got issued a warning, and that was the end of it. So where this starts to become an interesting discussion is in, obviously, I think this meme kind of sums it up. We see lots of Duty Finder, a lot of like Party Finder stuff, physically and actually selling content, putting things up for sale. And obviously the meme being, all right, well, yeah, people are violating terms of service all the time in the Party Finder, and the GMs are asleep on it. But roleplay venues, oh no, that's where it's going to hit the fan. And I want to kind of highlight what Ari says right here, quoting, my biggest concern about this is that people are getting warnings on their account, and this is not being able to get that removed. And they say this right here, inconsistent rule enforcement together with the fact that SEGMs are more than in any other game they've played have garnered a rep for being uncontrolled, whimsical, and contradictory for such a huge bleeping problem. Because if you ever get a black mark on your account, it's there forever. You could spend 10 years directly donating to the SE CEO, becoming the single best Burger Crown mentor in the history of mentorship, live your entire life in the Novice Network, being helpful and giving friendly advice and being a positive experience to any and all who use it, eternally patient in all the dungeons you run and never lose your temper, and always be an optimist and outright suck. Well, we're not going to finish that. And then one time, one specific individual GM decided that they thought you had broken a rule, and it will still be on your account forever. And obviously that's a huge problem. That is a huge problem at the root of it. When you talk about how rules are enforced, we've seen this time and time again across the internet. I think we want to strive. The ideal would be consistency. If things are consistent, at least you know the terms of service, you know the rules. And the argument can be made that we should know the terms of service, but I tell you hands down right now, I had no idea posting something like that into the other tab within the Party Finder would violate the terms. Now, the GM goes on to recommend that you can use kind of the Fellowship Finder and some of the other tools, but I would submit to you that this isn't an issue with role-playing. This is partially an issue with maybe how the GMs kind of handle things, but that's something, that's something outside of my control. All of this ends up being a little bit out of my control. But the other side of it is that maybe the game needs tools so that people can advertise these things. They added a free company finder, but that's tied into the website. A lot of the tools end up falling on the website and never seeming to be connected somewhat into the game. And I think that from an RP perspective, it would be really cool if the game featured a bulletin board where people could post whatever the heck they want. But instead, the game kind of forces you outside of itself to go find Discords and things like that. So what does all of this tell me? At the core of it, it's going to mean more people are going to rely on Discord and outside tools outside the purview of the Final Fantasy XIV ecosystem and control system, because this isn't the real core first time we've seen issues with how the rules are enforced. I think that essentially what the role-playing community is highlighting right now is this inconsistency in GMs, which I don't blame the individual GMs one bit, because there is so much behind the scenes that we are not privy to. And at the same time, these are just regular employees, like $10 to $15 an hour. Like they're just reading off a script, people. Like, you're not sitting here just, maybe you'll find somebody who'll try to go, but overall, I think that's one core issue. And again, the second kind of core issue is that we're not seeing the features, the tools, the things that they need to be brought into the game so the communities themselves can excel. The last time we saw this happen was when they kind of changed their policy. They did get a little bit draconian. I'm not going to lie. We've seen more and more people kind of quiet down in the game and the world itself and shift more into third parties. And I think essentially with this news, with all of this information that's breaking over on Reddit, I think that's only going to further draw that into its own and further out of the game. And maybe that's the best option. That's obviously the option we have within our control, not to use the game tools, but to use external tools. And I just wonder how long, and at some point when somebody new is coming into the community, when someone's new trying to come into the game, do we ultimately have that, hey, here's the 30 things that you need to play this game, to enjoy this game. And yes, that's right. I'm talking about, you want to go download ACT if you want to get into the raiding community. You want to make sure that you go to these websites so you can find a decent RP community that you can get connected with, and here's the set of unwritten rules that are somewhat, and maybe they are written, and that's the core problem, that it's not immediate. And this is I think an issue, and hopefully this is something that we can see, obviously Square Enix address and something good come from it. But anyway, I learned something. Hopefully you learned something. I appreciate you listening to my thoughts, and here as I just kind of process this and what people are saying about the situation. And I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you have a good day. This has been Brian for Ginger Prime, and I'll see you in my next one. And until then, take care. This video is sponsored by me, Ginger Prime. Hopefully you'll check out my podcast channel, Ginger Gaming Radio, which we have lots of guests, lots of great conversations, and even more highlights. Links are in the description below. Let me know what you think. Thanks.